Good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foss and I'm touching base with you as I do every day. And I have my partner in crime here, Chris Edwards.
What's up, sir?
How
Hold
you
on, let
doing,
me say
partner?
this. Let me say this first. That's my first time actually seeing that intro.
It's the
I
new
like the song
intro.
change. I'm loving the thinner banner. It's funny. We talked about this last week, and I love the subtle touches. It helps. I saw it yesterday.
Yeah. the
Loving
new
it.
intro, right?
Love it.
I made
I know
some
it's not the
tweaks
new
to the
season.
pictures.
I know it's
It's
not the new season
September.
yet, but it's a nice change.
It's a subtle September change. It's the
Yes.
change of, it's the new season, television, entertainment,
Yes.
media. September is
Yes.
when you make these new changes. And I said, you know what? Let me just give it like even though we don't
Well,
end this
I
season
love it.
officially until you like the sound, you like that?
I
Well,
love it.
also
I love it.
it, the catalyst to it is that the old sound that I had kept getting flagged as a monetizing sound.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so I said, you know what, let me just get rid of it. And even though I won the what do you call it, the when
The
you
dispute with
you
the
dispute with
Google.
it, because I
Yeah.
said I purchased it through my subscription with Canva, because that's where I got the sound from.
Yeah.
And they were like, and eventually they said, "Oh, okay, that's it's okay." But the next day it happened again. So I was like, you know
You know
what?
why? It's autumn. It's all done, but with bots. So
Yes,
it's going to constantly keep getting flagged.
flagged,
The,
and I just
change is
redo
good.
it. And I
Change is
said,
good.
change is good. So let me just do it. Let me just go all in and change it up. So, guys, welcome. It is our Trend Watch Thursday. If you think I'm a little off, that is because I am. I blew my nose, and the pressure of blowing my nose makes my equilibrium off. I got a little vertigo. I'm like, what's going on? I'm hoping that it ends by the end of this show, because I have a photo shoot immediately after in Manhattan. So I need to get on the bike and ride to the city. So, and if not, I'll have to take the Uber. So, but it is getting better since I, blew my nose.
The
And
things that
Chris and I
happen
were
to us
saying
as we get older.
the stuff that happens as you get older is just mm,
Ridiculous.
the old saying is, it takes guts. Getting older is not for the weak. Getting older is not for the weak.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, thank you for showing up, and let's see who's in the building today, Chris. Let's see who is in the building. And Hannah
It's our
is
gold
the
star
gold.
winner.
She's got the gold. Hannah Boyd Miller is in the building. Good morning, she says, and RLP family. And we have in second place, after having an amazing show yesterday in conversation,
Yes.
Miss Amparo, the Photog Grand Rising RLP family. And if you guys missed yesterday's conversation, first of all, we had the Amparo graced us with being on the panel. And then she had a solo time where she shared about her travel business, travel, learning, photography combined, and also not just that, but Rumi and all the other good stuff that she has for you. So go to her website, check her out, Amparo. And if you go to yesterday's show, all of the links are in yesterday's description. Okay,
Listen,
and yes, buddy.
I want to say something. What you do on a daily basis, it takes a lot of work. People don't realize, like, doing this live show is not just about doing this live show. It's the prep for the live show. It's making sure that the people you have on are good, and making sure that they're okay. And then afterwards, the amount of work you have to do to put it out. And then not only are you doing the live show, but you have to make sure you're sending it over to Indie Soup Media, and then having all the information ready to go there. So it's kudos to you to do this on 5 days a week. Because listen, I'm taking a break because it's so much.
It's
It's
a
so
lot of
much. And I
work.
was doing 2 shows.
It's a lot of work, and like I tell people, it's 3 hours in a day to do this show. It
Yeah.
takes 3 hours. 1 hour before, the hour during, and the hour after. And so that's why I said, y'all, y'all need to support those that are just like, hey, let's hang it out. It's great. It always helps when you support. I'm just saying,
And you do it by
financially.
yourself. You don't have a team doing it. And like what
That's
you're
right.
doing, normally you would have a cast of characters helping, one person running the stuff behind the scenes, one
Doing the
posting, one doing the
pop-ups.
social media stuff. Yeah. And then you're also putting out email blasts, you're posting, you're still doing your regular 9 to 5 job. So it's a lot. So I just want to take this time to say I appreciate you the fact that you do this every single day. And
Well, thank
I
you,
don't
partner.
listen, guys, when I jump on, when you see me on Thursdays and Fridays, I'm not doing anything. I just show up a couple minutes before Ron and I will talk, and then we jump on and do this. But he does all the work. So please go and support him on Patreon. Show him some love, and the fact that you actually love this platform. In order to keep doing this, you need to support.
Thank you. I'll put that up there. I will put that up there. There we go.
Yeah, there you
Join
go.
my Patreon community. Thank you. I did not plan that. Chris did. That
No,
was Chris. I did not plan that, but it does help when people do appreciate what you're doing. And the best way we know in our society to appreciate how you show your appreciation financially,
yeah,
some love, some encouragement, some good words.
it's
Just say, hey,
expensive.
Ron, thank you. Or we always say, Chris, thank you. Say, Elise, thank you, which is in the back room. And Gwendolyn, thank you, who she's in the back room. They'll be coming forward in a moment. And but it is so important, especially anyone that's online. Dr. Tachi and what she does, it
Yes.
is not easy. I mean, she created a whole network. I mean, 18,000 subscribers as of now. Almost, yeah, going on 19,000. And
I'm
she
gonna
did
check it
that
out
in
right now.
less than 4 months. He started that in April. So April, May, June, July, August, September. 5 months she created a platform. Yeah, guys, we gotta give people love. I mean,
18.5.
18.5. She's halfway towards
That's
the
the current number.
19,000. That's incredible. And
That's
she works
stupid growth.
hard. I mean,
And she
she's like,
works hard every day
every
doing
day.
this. And then on top of it, here's something. She watches all the shows and she comments in all of the chats. Like that
Yes.
is crazy to me.
And she also
That's crazy.
supports us. She pops
Yeah.
in here. She pops on Gwendolyn's show. She pops in when Elise is speaking. She pops here. She pops there. And not only she is a college professor, y'all.
Yeah.
She got students. She got homework.
I don't know how
I'm
she
just
does it.
saying. I don't know how. Now you think about how. Shoot. Anyway, let's bring on our wonderful panel, our every Thursday panel. Miss Gwendolyn, Miss
Hey.
Elise, what's going
Hello,
on?
ladies.
Morning.
Good
Ladies,
morning.
so glad you're here. How are you guys? Good morning.
You want to start, Miss Elise? I'm gonna let you start.
Oh, you're muted, Elise.
I always mute so whatever's going on in the background doesn't come out first. I'm doing great today, actually. I'm doing great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Gwendolyn, how you doing today, dear?
Actually, I'm slightly groggy only because I was still up doing the first part of my birthday session.
Oh,
So
yes.
part 2 has to be done. And it's, I know Chris understands. I know he understands my pain. It's work to get those sets together and get your costumes and whatnot together. Yeah.
Yeah, she's
I'm
working
always
on her
checking before I
birthday.
get on here. Like, what am I put on?
So let's see who else is in the room. Hold on a second. Let's see who else is in the room. I forgot to give the bronze out. The bronze goes to Aya. She says Grand Rising. And then we also have Chris is in the building. Chris R's in the building. Jazzy's in the building. Omar's in the building from the diner. What's up, peeps? He says, and he says, it's a new season. It's a new day. Yes, indeed. Bryson's in the building. What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, RLP fam? What's up, CQ fam? I like going through his thing. What's up, CQ fam? Happy Fight Night Thursday. Hope everybody watched VMAs last night. Nope, did not watch it, but
I saw the beginning. I don't know I don't know like 3/4 of those people.
I don't know anyone. No, I only know is Miley Cyrus, and then the other one, the Irish girl, the something Irish.
Billy Irish.
Yeah, Billy. Is he Billy Irish?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an old person.
We old. We old. Did you know Meg Thee Stallion?
No, who's that?
Yes, you do.
Oh,
my
never
God.
mind. Never mind.
You know what? I probably know the sounds.
Yeah,
just don't know the names. That's all.
It's all right.
Yeah, you know how we older folks roll.
No, because I don't roll like that.
No, because look,
listen.
There's some
The
folks
reason
that are
why I know
older than
half
me.
these people nowadays is because my husband's younger than me by 11 years. So,
but there are older folks that know some of this stuff that I say shout out to them all.
Well, look, Rod, I'm one of them older folks.
Yes, but you know a lot of these people. It's amazing. You know a lot of these people, but that's because teachers have this ability to be young.
well, they have to be.
They're forever young. Teachers are forever young. They can retire. They can go and they never go get a rocking chair. You never see a teacher in a rocking chair. Have you ever seen a teacher in a rocking chair? Never.
I never thought to think about that.
None of my friends were teachers. Teachers are like they drink from the fountain of youth. They gain all that energy from the young people, and it keeps them young forever.
Look at education. In education, you have to be up on stuff so that when they say things, you know what they're talking about.
You gotta be up on it.
Ronald's in the room. He said he don't know these people.
Oh, Ronald said he don't know these people. Ronald said he doesn't know these people. So let's say some more greetings I see in the building. Obviously, we got Gwendolyn in the building. Girls Club is in the building. She says, good morning, everyone. And we got David Mascaro. I love that name. I love that last name. That last name is like, roll those R's. I keep thinking about my Spanish class. Roll the R's. Yes, I was in that Spanish class. Spanish 1, Spanish 2. And do I remember anything from Spanish? I can read it, but I can't speak it.
Same here.
Anyway, and the reason why my teacher used to say, every night I want you guys to go on and back at that time it was the UHF channel with the Spanish channel, had all the Spanish speaking programs. She goes, everyone go to UHF tonight. UHF, and every night speak to your television. And she's
the young people don't know nothing about that. Yeah, the two knobs on the TV.
The two knobs.
UHF and VHF.
Yes, remember the two knobs?
We're fully aware.
And for those that remember the wrench or to turn it when the knob fell off, you couldn't find it.
Knob broke.
The pliers,
The pliers. The pliers.
And the hanger for the antenna.
And the hanger for the antenna.
Yes.
Can y'all remember the hanger for the antenna? Everyone had one. You go to someone's house, the antenna always broke, and everybody had a hanger with aluminum foil.
Yes. That enhanced it. That boosted the signal.
It worked.
The aluminum foil. Who could forget the Reynolds wrap?
Oh, man.
It's not just for food. It's for reception.
No. Yes.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, who else is in the building? We got Elise is in the building. She's already sent her greet. Hey, Janet's in the building. We haven't seen our wonderful Janet. Hey, Janet, we miss you. Janet Fisher is in the building. And we see Ronald Thomas is in the building. The great Ron, the partner of the great Chris.
Hold on, I want to do a plug. I need to do a plug. So for those that did not see last week's season finale of Safe Space, please go check it out on the Indie Suit Network. Ronald was my season finale guest, and it was such a wonderful show. I'll let Ron speak about it. I'll let G speak about it, 'cause they were watching
Yes.
live as well. And I think it was a very heartwarming and touching episode and a great way to end the season.
And can I say, if you do venture over, I recommend that you go to Safe Space. You can just look on YouTube, go to Indie Soup and put in Safe Space and check out that last episode. Make sure you come with some hankies or some tissues or some. I was like, it's making me cry. I was crying and tears coming down because the reason why is because I come from a church background, being a PK, raising up in church. I becoming a born again believer at 13, and my whole life was rolled and lived in church. And as he was talking, it just took me back to all those scenes in my head of what I went through. And I was like, Ron, I feel you, sir. Ron, I can identify with you. Ron, thank you. And guys, check it out.
This is why I do that show, because I think that people can see themselves in it.
Yep. And so that's what I told Chris, if there's anything he will do, if there's anything he would give his time to after he takes his sabbatical, that's the show. That's where he needs to focus his time. Safe Space is so good. I've learned so much about so many people and this just things I didn't even know. And it is so enlightening. And we all love the human story. We all love the human story. That's what makes humans different from animals or other, species, is that we can tell stories. No, well, we don't. Well, maybe dogs do tell stories. We don't know if they're not being accused of. The dogs and the cats are running away from Ohio right now. I saw some cars. I saw some cars with some dogs behind it in the steering wheel section. JD Vance got cats and dogs scared.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I'm trying. Let me straighten up first. Hold up here. I have cried so many times watching Safe Space. It is, and for me, I myself, yes, heterosexual, happily married, and what have you, but my family is varied across the board on both sides. And so, watching last week, Chris always says it's not about being a gay couple or a gay parent or a gay something. You're just human. And so watching their love story, I kept getting moments of my own. And I mean, I have boohooed, I don't know how many times this season.
I'm not the only one, y'all. I'm not the only wishy person in the building.
Oh, man, it is touching. And if I may do a little plug, my daughter was on there as well.
Oh, yes, she was.
That's right.
Tears. I was like, but it's a beautiful series, and everyone is blessed that you were able to have that space to bring these stories to life.
Those stories. Yeah,
I'm so thankful. And listen, I was there. But I still cried afterwards. Like I was telling, I don't know who I was telling, but
you're telling me that you had to you made sure that the camera was panned off of you because
there
you
was
started
one
to break
part
out tears.
There was one part in that where literally
right?
I lost it during the interview. I was just like, and I had to make sure that the camera was not on me at that time. And this is a person I live with every day, and we have these conversations, but sometimes it's when you hear it in that context, it still touches you. Like I still to this day, like I'll just look at him like, I can't believe this is my life. Because I never saw this for myself. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have him that I never take it for granted. And I'm just so thankful that he was willing to share this story with everyone, because I didn't ask him to do this. Like I said at the very beginning, he came to me and said, "Hey, I want to tell my story. I want to do this." And I said, "Okay." And I showed up like I normally do. We didn't have a discussion as far as what we're going to talk about. We just kind of sat there and had a conversation, and the conversation went where it went, and that's what you guys saw.
and
I
it
have to
blessed
watch
my
it.
heart.
I have to
Yes.
watch it. I had to say with my son.
Oh yes,
Talking about church.
Elise, your son will love this.
Yeah,
Yes.
and talking about church, I personally went to one of the ministers after a sermon where they ended with talking about same sex couples and marriage for no reason in the sermon. It had nothing to do with it. Of course, it wasn't positive. So I went to him. I said, "Let me tell you, my son believes that Jesus is the Lord and Savior, not because of you in the church."
Mm,
I said, because of his mother.
mm,
Showing
Yeah.
what that love is, because if it were about you all, I said that's why they don't come to church. And I
mm.
also said it in a church meeting. I said that's why young people aren't in the church, because if you tell me, I said what they hear you saying is they're not good enough,
Yeah.
and that's not the truth. And so you need to change. It's not them needing to change. I said your only job is to show love.
There
That's
you
what your
go.
job is. And so I
Yeah.
actually went to the pastor and the minister at the church and said what I had to say, because we are those of us who are the parents and the families and the partners have to speak up
Yeah.
and help them correct that, help let them know that what they're doing is not quote unquote Christian.
Yes, yes. You know me, I always say I'm about the red letters.
Red letters.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
everything else is like, oh, okay, that a little sketchy, maybe not. But the red letters, I go like this. If I can just live a life of love,
Mm.
then I've accomplished something great.
Yeah.
Because it is not easy to love the unlovable. It is not easy to love people unconditionally.
Mm.
And it takes a major amount of grace. But what it also takes is a recognition of mercy.
Yep.
Because when you see mercy applied to your life, you look at yourself and say, I have received much mercy.
Mhm.
Not aside of the grace we know we
Right.
got the grace. But when the mercy compels us, wait a minute, I got a lot of junk in my life. Why? And I should have been put down a long time ago. But here I am because of mercy. And then mercy steers you to grace.
Yeah.
Mercy says,
Mhm.
wow, I should have deserved, you know what? I didn't deserve that raise, but God made a way. I don't deserve the home I live in, but God made a way. You know, you think about, but then you say, it's his grace that continually flows in our lives.
Mm.
And I didn't mean to go into a sermon, but I
That's
could
all
go
right.
there if I need to. But
Ronald's in
my
there
thing
preaching
is,
too.
I see it now. I see his comments.
it's about love. It's about the love of humanity, the
Absolutely.
love of one another. I mean, the number one word in
It's
the
love.
red letters, and if you are a follower of Jesus, the number one word is love.
Yes.
How many times did he talk about love?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
you
was only a 3-year ministry. And
Yeah.
I always say this, if you're going to die, you're going to die in 3 years. You're going to be put to the cross. You're going to tell people the most important things before you go. If I
Absolutely.
knew that I had 3 years to live, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Adrian, my family, my friends know everything I want them to know. That's important. I'm not thinking about all those trivial things.
No.
Absolutely not. And yes,
Love rules. And
love
as
is good.
soon as we as a country, as a society, learn to love, which takes me to I'm going to go there. I got to go there. I said I wouldn't this morning. I got up. I went for my walk, and I was just so thankful because Omar has coached me to be thankful more. Even though
Great.
I like to be thankful anyway, but I need a little extra coaching because the last couple of weeks has been kind of challenging. and I watched the debate, and I've been listening about what's happening out, the other night. If they're
Oh,
Christians who are Bible believing, Jesus followers, or attempt to be Jesus followers, if you are following this person, I'm not even going to say his name.
yes.
If you are following anything contrary with all the hate that's spewed from the clown, from the person that is just bathed in hate, the cloak of hate he wears on his head, the cloak of hate that he wears on his body, he walks in the shoes of hate. And you say you are a Bible believing believer, but yet you tell me he is everything. I love him. I just love this dude. You need to check yourself. Check yourself. Check yourself. Check your spiritual well-being. Check your spiritual insights. Go back to the red letters. Go back to the red letters, and you will have your foundation. Anyway, just had to go there. It was in my mind, in my spirit, in my heart all day today. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I am so full of grace and mercy. Mercy has been applied. Grace has been applied. Let me just get love right. Let me get love right. Can I just work on love? That's all. That's the biggest project I can work on in life is love.
Yeah.
Man.
And Ryan, the ironic thing is that this morning when I woke up, the thing that I went to, because I was looking at love, was I went to Corinthians, which Ryan kind of posted in the chat a little bit. And it's the greatest gift we have is love. And what love does. And we have to understand that's the greatest gift we can give ourselves and we can give the world. And the last thing that we're told is, one of the things we're also told is not to judge people.
That's right.
That's not our job. Our job is not to be moral judges of people. It's not our job to convict someone of moral sins. That's not our job. That doesn't belong to us. Our biggest job in the world is to just love people and show them kindness.
Yes. Yes. So anyway, I know sometimes I go, that's that PK in me. I have to tell you, and I am so thankful for that upbringing. Sometimes you get a little, well, everyone that knows me, I'm a cynical person by nature. I am cynical. And so I always have to I have to filter my vision with love. I have to kind of like pause and say, okay, let me look at this through the prism of love. Because if I don't, I lose it. I lose it every time. So I can go off. I can lose it. But once I stop and say, okay, let's look at it through the eyes of love, through the filter of love. And it changes it. It changes the way you see the world. It really does. People that you wouldn't have mercy for, you begin to have mercy for. The people that make you want to scream, you may say, okay. They need a little more.
I'm trying to understand that. I'm like, I don't know about all that. I am cynical, right? But I'm also a realist, and I just take folks for who they are.
This is true
I can accept you. I'll accept you as you are. It's just I would find it helpful if they would be more honest with themselves, right? Like I've said it. If you're a bigot, own your bigotry. That's great. I'm not gonna hate you for it.
Yes.
You're not gonna be in my face. But it's fine. Like you are still accepted. You're still loved. I'm gonna give you some grace and mercy because I'm a little violent sometimes. So that's my
You better watch out for the pistol packing Gwendolyn.
right. But no. I mean, I do understand. I do understand the idea
He's
of
truly a Texan.
seeing the world through love. But I'm not. I mean, like, let's not get it twisted. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm gonna give you some space, but after a while, it's like, look, I got to check that. So, okay.
Omar says, he's laughing. He says, watching Ron yell at the TV is a sight to see.
Yeah, we've seen it.
When I lose it, I lose it. Yes, I certainly do. The marbles go rolling down the hill. Come back, marbles. Come back, brain marbles. So anyway, so what's in the news these days? Oh my goodness, guys, can we continue on with the conversation from yesterday? Now that we had 24 hours, a real 24 hours to soak in what the debate, what has happened. I would love to know, what was your biggest takeaway from the debate? Go ahead, Chris. You can't wait.
All right,
Go ahead.
I'm itching. It's like scratching. My biggest takeaway was watching Fox News walk away from him. Like, all of the commentary from all of the pundits over on Fox was, this was not his best debate. He lost this one. And to see them, and I really want to know what his reaction, the Orange Man's reaction, is to watching all of his Fox commentary, commenters, like, really not turn on him, but just like actually tell the truth for once.
Tell the truth.
Tell the truth for once. Like, literally, everyone is saying that he lost this debate hands down. And everyone knows where in the debate he lost it. He lost it from the moment they walked on stage, and she walked over to him commandingly and said, "My name is Kamala Harris." She pronounced her name to him so that he couldn't get it wrong. And it shamed him to a point where he did not even say her name, not once. In the 105 minutes that they were on TV.
He was, and he did not look at her. He did
not once.
Even when he said "you," he still never looked at her
because he was shamed. She shamed him from the moment she walked on the stage. She commanded that room like it was full of people, and she was, there was no one there. It was 4 people in the room. And she commanded it from the moment she walked out. That is a commander in chief. This man cowered down to her. He did not look at her. He looked down most of the time, and his face, like, this man's face is in a permanent scowl. He does not know how to smile. He was a shell of a person. And a lot of people said that, he's not the same person he was 8-10 years ago. He wasn't sharp. He wasn't witty. He had nothing. He had literally, as Ronald said, and I will continue to repeat this, he had one leg that he was just pivoting off of the entire time. Immigration, and just mad about it. He had nothing. And then for him to sit there and say, well, I've got ideas. Like, you've had 9-10 years and you still don't have a solid a concept. You don't have a solid idea of what is going to replace Obamacare. Oh, we'll keep it until we figure it out. But I've got concepts. Concepts are back there, sir.
Concepts ain't going to help anyone.
Man, listen.
Elise, what was your biggest takeaway from the debate?
So one of the biggest things, I'll go back to what Chris said first, is prior to the debate, he made such an issue about her not having anything to stand on top of, because her personality is so big. I even assumed she was taller because I've never seen her in person. But because she came out, when she came out and went over to him and shook his hand, she took all that power back. Let him know that he could not intimidate her, that she may be shorter in stature, but she was powerful. And I think that was one of the biggest things. That was the greatest thing she did, was to say, hey, go over there and do that. But him having them, really being much better moderators than they had on CNN. doing those fact checking. And it wasn't about being biased toward her or anything. It was them doing their job, doing their due diligence and what they should do as moderators for a debate. And just her reminding him, even though him and that they said if I get 63 million votes, I'm going to win. And she reminded him 81 million people fired you. And I think that was one of the big things. And
that's
that was hard. She was like, and I think he's having a hard time dealing with it.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely. Yeah, she said, I think he's having a hard time processing that.
Yeah,
but it's true, right? And like Chris, watching the clips from the Fox people, hearing people like Robert Kennedy's voice saying that she won that debate, and her coming out with people understanding who she is, seeing her into her brilliance, and the fact that she said, these are my plans. She didn't leave a space in there. She didn't leave. If you have a question after that, that's just because you don't want to know.
It's where and also it's like someone said, if you really want to know Kamala Harris, she did write a book. You could just go to the library for free and pick up her book and read it.
Well, the Kenny Burns people had a better one than that the other night. They said the biggest book in the world is Google.
That's right.
You want to know something, just go to Google. It will tell you everything.
Google.
It'll tell you all you want to know about her. But I think that like the way she was able to focus, even her pregnant pause to say former president, and how she continued to address him as former.
Yes.
And not give him the credibility that people, because it always bothers me, even when you talk about Barack Obama, he's a former president. Everybody's a former president. And that people, president, he's the former president. And I think her intentionality was critical in that place. She just was very intentional and focused and kept her composure, even though she did laugh about the dogs and cats.
That was
everybody.
That came out of nowhere. And we all knew it was in the news earlier in the day, but we have never seen someone that's supposed to be running for president take something that was a joke or where it was, or a meme in the day, and bring it to a debate.
And
he elevated it.
And elevated it.
Well, I think she baited him so well around immigration.
Oh, she kept doing it.
You watch, he's gonna mention it even when it doesn't apply to the question, and he took it hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though. She said that in the very beginning, and you would think that, all right, well, now she said this, I shouldn't do this, because if I do that, then it makes me seem feeble. And he just kept doing it over and over and over again. It's like, you did not hear? Were you not in the same room when she said that?
And she warned him too. She said, "This is what in some ways she's saying, look, this is what we're going. I know what you're up to," and he couldn't shift because
he can't help himself.
From what was it, May, that they declined the bill? Was it in May that they declined the border bill?
The border bill,
the border bill. And so he's been trying his best since May to run on immigration. I mean, that's the reason why they stopped the border bill. And but again, there's something psychologically wrong with him, because he has these obsessions on things.
So Ron, I think it's the part that people have to, what she knows, and if you listen to George Conway,
yes,
he is a narcissistic, malignant psychopath.
Yes,
they fixate on things.
Great words.
Yes,
and so that's what we had. That and I put it in a conversation the other night somebody was having online. I said, what she has to remember is that she's debating a narcissist.
A narcissist.
And you have to know what that narcissist is focused on. Himself and all of the negativity. She understood the task was to get to the narcissist. Yes. And she got to him.
She pulled it out. I mean, every time she took she said, and one of the commentators said, she answered her question, and then she said, you know what? Y'all have questions, but I'm going to tell you what I know, and I want to tell you my policy. Y'all can ask all the questions you want, but I'm in control. I'm the VP. I'm here on the stage. I'm going to tell you what I would need to tell you. But then after she did that with every statement, she said, ding, 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 ding. I mean, it was like how people play with their cats with the little yawn. Not to be mentioned cats again, but
Lord
the
bless.
little yawn. We're America's new obsession, cats
And dogs. And dogs.
And
dogs.
and dogs.
So they eat
So
them both.
Gwendolyn, what was your biggest takeaway?
Here's my biggest takeaway looking at the entire thing. For me, I saw what America is for women, especially Black women. You can be the most articulate, you can be the most prepared, you can be accomplished. And this is why I don't believe that Black women should ever feel imposter syndrome. You are setting the bar, and yet and still you will have somebody look and say, I don't know what she stands for. I'm just not sure. There's nothing that she could have said for those who are undecided to feel as if she is qualified. And I say feel because, America is what it is. We have our biases. I know I'm biased, and I talk about my biases all day, right? You have people who just can't see themselves ever voting for a Black woman. And there's nothing worse for some people than a Black woman who is confident and stands on it, like walks into rooms and like takes over. There are people who just can't even see themselves ever voting for someone like that, although secretly they wish they were that person.
Yeah.
And that's what so many of us deal with every single day in the workplace. And the comments afterwards, I was like, just say it. You don't want to vote for her because she's Black, because she's a woman, she's an other. Just say that. Put your arms around it, hug it tight. You know what I'm saying? And keep it moving. But stop that. I'm just not sure. I don't know what she stands for. I just, like her values, cut it out. Like, own your biases. Get there already. I can help you get there. We can have some conversations, some cocktails. We can put it on paper.
Yeah, I agree with Gwendolyn. Own your stuff. Own it.
Own it.
If you're gonna be that confident, own your stuff. Let people not wanting to vote number one for a woman.
Yes.
Then for a Black woman. All of that. And Gwendolyn's absolutely right. When we walk into spaces, it's everybody who looks at that Black woman who comes in a position of and shows their intelligence on a job or in any space where Black men. I'm not surprised at some of these Black men because they do the same thing. They've done it on the jobs when I walked in the room as an administrator. But I've also had Black men that say, look, I prefer you over this man helping me do what I need to do because you have the knowledge and skills I need. And we put up with that all the time. And it's our job as this community, as we continue to do it, to help people. If people want to talk to me, I'm going to talk to you about it. And at this point, there shouldn't be any intelligent being out there saying they don't know what her plans are. And the other part is, there shouldn't be. They're not the same.
That's right.
The two parties aren't the same. The two people aren't the same, and it's not the lesser of two evils. It's freedom and democracy over a dictatorship and insanity.
Yeah,
that's what.
There you go.
And a double emphasis on the insanity. I don't understand why people want to go back to that. I don't understand that they watched this guy mishandle COVID. He was the problem with the Afghan problem. The Afghan situation was because of him. The immigration problem, him. The crime, the high crime was because of him. So all of these things, and I always have to mention what you see in policy. I should say what you see in the public is a delay of what was put forward in the administration before. So so everyone was like, oh my gosh, crime is out of control, inflation's out of control, all these things out of control. That's because those were laggers. The economy is a lagger of the previous 6 months, a year, 2 years of policy. And And so now you have 2 years of Biden and Harris doing what they did.
Right.
And now you see inflation's going down.
Right.
You see the crime rate is the lowest, and they say if it goes, I think two more percentages, it will be the lowest since 1950. It is the lowest since 2009.
And
It is, and it continues to go down. So again, these are laggers. These are laggers. Crime, the population, how people react, inflation, how people feel. People don't feel when people make policy decisions and they make policies that help the people. You're not going to feel that for pretty much a year to 2 years out.
Right.
And usually and this is the problem with most people that are Americans that don't read or don't educate themselves, is that they're like, oh wow, the economy was great under Trump. They don't realize he inherited that economy,
a great economy
from Obama,
which he destroyed.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you all remember on the Afghan issue.
Yes.
When he said after he's talked about the 13 people, military people getting killed, that he said, we did not lead them with the plan. He said it in the debate. Right. He said it at the very end of that. If you go back and you listen, he says it at the very end. They didn't give it to him. However, I said, let me Google this. I went to the big book. There were some deaths in Afghanistan of Americans when he was in office.
That's right.
And he keeps saying there were none. That's not true. And so I said, like, I like to look up facts. So I went to Google to find out. So there were some in there, which was one of the 33 lies that he told.
Yeah, 33 among the 33,000 that he's told.
I meant on that one night.
we just keep adding to the pot.
The 33,000 from the fact checkers. I mean, over the last years of just him being in office or out of office, crazy. 33,000 lies.
That's insane.
Right.
Could you imagine? I mean, people used to get bent out of shape because politicians lied 5 times.
Right.
Well, shit,
5
once.
times. He told me a lie. That's 5 times too many.
What is that? Hers was 1. Whatever the one was. I think it was it Imani or something?
Well, each one, even when Obama was like, oh, did he lie about that? Or did he deceive us about the drone situation? What was going on with the drones?
Please, his biggest controversy was the tan suit. Let's keep it real.
Biggest controversy was the tan
that was his biggest controversy. Was that tan suit.
He made a decision to wear tan. But
oh my God, the free world is over. Democracy is dead. He wore tan.
Think about it, 33,000 lies that are accounted for.
This man killed millions of people during COVID, told us to inject bleach into our bodies.
And people still want him.
Held the Bible upside down, cleared people of peaceful protests, and separated families. Like, kids are still without their parents this very day, but yet still, he made America great.
Isn't that crazy?
Let me tell you something. Hold on. I saw an interview with Kamala. They asked her, "What's your favorite curse word?" It was evident on the stage. She said it without saying it, and I loved it. M. It starts with an M and it ends with an A, not an ER, but an A. Okay. And I loved it because every Black person knew when she had that pause what she wanted to say, and we all filled in the blanks.
Yeah.
That pregnant pause.
That was the pause that went around the room.
Every minute of it.
Every person of color, meaning Spanish or Black, knew what that pause was.
Yes.
Everyone, they were like, and everybody was like, "We all heard it." Yes. Okay. Now next.
It was perfect. Like, she said everything that needed to be said that day, and
did good.
We didn't even say the things that we understood like that. Let me tell you something. This Masterclass, the series, this should be on Masterclass
This will be one of those.
A must watch. This was masterful from start to finish. And she knew she did not have the final word, but her word was so definite and poignant that you remember hers and you don't remember anything he said.
Yeah, all he did was whine
Yes, she did.
and yell and say bigot stuff about foreigners, and they're
Right.
taking your jobs and taking your, they're eating your cats and dogs, and and then this morning they were talking about they were talking about they ate the geese in the pond. I mean, what? I mean, they just kept expanding it. It just in this mega echo chamber. It's crazy. And
The
then
only thing
the
the only
interview.
thing she left.
Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Well, before they went to CNN, went to the town in Springfield and started to interview some of the people. And one of the person he's in charge of the Haitian council there, and they interviewed him, and the Haitian folks were saying he and I think the other gentleman, they were like, if it wasn't so bad in our country, we would go back because this is not good. This was like, we did not expect this behavior from Americans. We did not expect this kind of treatment, but because our country is so devastated right now, devastating things are happening in that country, we can't go back.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris.
The only thing I wanted to say that I think that she missed out of the only point was that she did not bring up that, hey, you're trying to apply to go back into that black job. And you're not going to get it. That's the only thing that she did not bring up, that black job.
That's right. Obama had that. It made it a black job now.
Oh my God.
Come on now.
One thing the part that came out of Springfield for me that was like the most kind of disturbing and heartbreaking was the father of the 11-year-old that was killed in an accident. Was killed in an accident with a bus in a bus accident, who had to come out and say to them, please stop using my son's name.
Yes.
My son it's like my son doesn't want any part of your hatred.
Yes.
So he came out and made an appeal and he named them. He named Vance, he named Trump, he named all the MAGA people. Stop using my child. My child has nothing to do with
that one.
Yeah, it was.
So his son he's 11 years old. It was a Haitian. It was an accident with a car and a bus. And his son died.
And the Haitian man did not have a license.
It as a Haitian murdered this child, and it wasn't. It was a car accident. And the father came out yesterday and said, and he said, and they need to apologize for that, for utilizing his son, because it has nothing to do with any of this. He said,
but that's what they do.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Right. And it was important for him to come out as that father in Springfield and make a statement. And I think that's the kind of stuff that they do, hoping that nothing's ever said.
I have to share this because I think it's come up several times. And a family member just sent this to our family chat. I don't know if you guys can see this and read it. Is it backwards?
No, it's
not backwards.
I wish I could take your screen and go like isolate.
So
the woman kills it.
Yeah, so it says woman kills baby live on stage 78 years after its birth.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, you have to take these crazy things that he says and turn them into a joke. You really do.
I love the memes.
It's illegal in every state, in every country. You can't. There's no such thing as abortion after a child is born. That's called murder.
That's murder.
Nobody's doing that. No one's doing it in the 7th and 8th and 9th month. If you're having a medical abortion at that late stage, it's because either the mother's life is in danger or the child is pregnancy is unviable.
Right.
Yes.
So let's stop. And the thing about it, these people are believing this. Like you guys are supposed to be educated people that have college degrees that are actually listening to this crazy shit and believing it.
They're crazy.
It's crazy.
Like I said, you have to be insane to follow these people. And I'm sorry. Someone brought up in one of the commentaries this morning. I think it was Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe.
Morning, Joe.
Said with the book writer, I forgot his name, but he lives down the block from me, and he said if Kamala wins, we still the next day have to reckon that there are 81 million people or 80 million people that are okay with a world of lack of democracy, the lack of supporting other people, the lack of, but mainly there are people that support autocracy. There are 80 million people in this country that don't want democracy. What do we do with them? What happens? How do we encourage them? How do we talk to them? How can we win them? How can we speak to them? How can we bring them back into the fold of democracy? 80 million people.
Some of them you may not be able to bring back.
No.
That's right.
There's some people like when you listen to some of the clips and some of the people that I've seen, especially young Black men. One was like, oh, young man of color. He's like, oh, I'm going to vote for Trump, and he's so entertaining. Then he said,
yes.
but the guy put the points to him, right? So you're entertained by someone who has 34 felony convictions. You're entertained by someone who has been found liable for sexually assaulting a woman. He said the guy said rape, liable for rape. He said he raped somebody. He said, so you're entertained by that? Now that guy had a different expression.
That's right.
The only thing are the people who are just hitching their wagon to this train for whatever they're hitching it to it for. Those are the only people. And then the ones, there are going to be some Black celebrities and stuff who come out of this. Nobody's ever going to trust them again. You just, what are we going to do? And then you have people, and I'm going to say his name this time. You have people like Ice Cube telling Black people don't vote. Get out of here.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Black people vote. Y'all need to vote, because of all the people, the ones they want to destroy the most are us. Because we are
at the end of the day, yep.
The biggest shame of this country. Every day we're that reminder. We are always going to be the one that they're trying to pit other people against. And I don't know how many of y'all have you all seen that. This is change the subject. Have you all seen the piece about the Cubans in Florida who are upset because of the billboard?
No.
There's a billboard in Florida that's in Spanish, and it compares him to Castro as a dictator.
Really? And they're so upset.
They said they were gonna, if the billboard didn't come, somebody paid for it. If the billboard doesn't come down, they're gonna block the highway.
Really?
And then there are other Cubans down there who are talking about them and how they are and explaining who they are. People don't understand what happened in Cuba.
Yes.
It's about, I don't want to share my wealth, so I'm going to leave this country. People have to understand the whole history of things. And yeah, Castro wasn't great. But my thing is, they're so upset because they said, this is what they compared him to. It's a big red and white sign.
Wow. So people were upset. They were upset because they felt that the comparison insulted Castro.
No, these are Trump supporters.
Trump supporters.
Said to be a dictator.
Gotcha.
And it's directed toward the Cuban
population.
Florida.
Gotcha. Okay. Wow. I see here also. I see a couple of comments here that were really cool. Omar says, what he said became the soundtrack for the criminally insane. And I see here, Girls Club says the worst part is their country is in the states it's in because of American interference. That is Haiti. And I see Chrissy's Corner says, I love that she didn't hold back. She brought up the exonerated 5. His dad not renting to Black families, his indictments, and she kept applying that pressure.
She kept turning on his neck.
Right.
Yes.
And understanding that, Chrissy, understand it wasn't just his dad, it was him.
Yeah, it was him and his
It
dad.
was him. It wasn't just his dad. He did that as well because he was a part of that not wanting to rent to Black people.
I mean, he also said he didn't want people, Jewish people, touching his money. Well, Black people to touch his money.
Black people touching his money.
Black people not to touch the money.
So you have to think about in that conversation when he was asked questions, the part about he lost by a whisker. He's like, "Did I say that?" Right. And then it was again when they asked him about the comment about her and her identity. He said, "I don't know." Well, and then he went on to say other stuff, and people have taken some of that and that one phrase in there. I don't know how many other people think that way. When he said that I heard she said she wasn't. Then he said, I heard that she put out, and people have taken that put out phrase as interpreted as something.
Oh
not the statement, but putting out.
Here's a. I'm going to throw this one out. What do you guys think of Taylor Swift? Yesterday, 33,000 Swifties went to the sign up to vote website.
I'm all for whatever helps move the needle. I think that she has a great following, and let's not underestimate the power of social media, the power of celebrity, and what she brings to the table. Her, Beyonce, Rihanna, all of them. I mean, there's super women out there right now. Like, they're moving economies. All right. Yeah. Let's not underestimate them. They are moving. They're creating economies. People, mayors and governors and countries want them to put their shows on in their locales because they know what it does for the local economy. And, I think her, even like the dig at the end, how she signs it, single cat or cat lady, whatever, cat lady, that was her
childless cat lady.
Perfect.
Yeah. Childless cat lady. I think and for her, she has 283 million followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
And so her to put the link to vote.org in her story that night. And she's also previously, prior to this, when she had concerts, she's actually had voter registration at her concerts. So it's not just a one-time thing for her.
Yeah.
But it was something that was necessary for her. It was great. Her timing was amazing, right?
The timing was amazing.
And it was also necessary for her to write what she wrote, because in that she took that information from where he falsely used the AI generated stuff on his site to say that she supported him. And she went in and she made sure that people understood the best way to deal with misinformation is to put out your truth. And she made that very clear. And she needed to make that very clear because he's been trying to use all of these people as if they're supporting them. And even, I gotta say this, even him saying to Yusuf, so you support me, and then the part that people didn't hear is Yusuf said back to him, no, I don't. It's a video clip out there. Yusuf has it on his page. He's one of the exonerated 5. He said who he was, and he said, and when he said you support me, he said, no, I don't. And so I think it's very important that people remember all that. But I think what Taylor Swift done, she does little subtle things as far as politics is concerned. She felt that she needed to do something bigger this time because she had already been misused and misrepresented on his own site.
Yeah. I think it's modern day. Is your mic on, Ron? No, you're on mute. Your lips are moving. There's no sound. Well, I'll finish my thought. I just think it's modern day.
It was so much noise outside. I was like, I gotta close off my mic because it was so much noise. But the noise is gone. Okay, it's New York. Somewhat. Yeah. No,
I just think it's like I said, it's the modern day rock the vote. It's a new way of doing it. Like we had MTV back in the day, and they did some stuff. I mean, people got out. They showed up so she can use her platform in the way that she sees fit. And again, it's gonna make a difference, I believe.
So I was wrong. Chrissy says it was 300,000 people went to the website to register. 300,000 people. Look, if we can get 10% of those people out to vote, if they just came out 10%, that's every vote. Because this is going to be a needle This is going to be razor thin voting, and we need every single person. I brought up on this map here from Axios. It says when early in-person voting begins. So I'm putting this here, but you can, I'll put the link in it as well. And it shows how where the early voting days before the November election. So the lighter is 14, and then it's 21 days before the election. It's 28 days and 35 days. 35 days and day of only. So there are 3 states that you can only vote day of, which is obviously Mississippi and Alabama, where I think less, and New Hampshire. However, there are states, the ones in the darkest colors, there's a bigger outward to start voting. So you can start voting soon in some of these states. So the dates, they have all this information here. Check it out. But also you can go to your local registration and see exactly when your early voting starts, which is so important. And especially folks that live in climates that are harsh. If you live in Texas or you live in the hot summer, because sometimes it's hot still in November in the southern states. Some states are hot. Remember, they were talking about some people needed glasses of water on election day in Atlanta. So a lot of places. Also,
and they made it illegal to hand out
illegal
water.
to get water.
Exactly. And then in some states, it's extremely cold on election day. So if you live in places like Iowa or Wyoming, well, not that Wyoming is going to be voting blue, but anyway, but most of those cold places that people live, it can be cold on November 5th. So if you can get early voting done, get it done early. So I'm like, as soon as the first day of early voting, I'm in, I'm out. I don't have to think about it. My vote is in, it's cast. So guys, get in, take the opportunity to get out there and do early voting. And then also it gives you enough time to adjust if you've been purged off the rolls. So you may go and say, oh, wow, I went to vote. And then they look you up and say, oh, sorry, you're not on the roll. Well, then you have time to go and get your voting registration taken care of. So that's why Gwendolyn is always like this with me. She's always saying, always prepare early. Don't wait till the last minute. Don't wait till the last day. Don't wait for the last. Make sure you give yourself that grace time.
Get it done.
So that way you can make your adjustments if something is wrong.
Absolutely. And I tell people all the time, if you can, vote in person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I promise you, they're going to do all types of shenanigans with mail, everything. It already takes, my husband mailed his sister something, and she lives down in Texas. Took 2 weeks for her to get it. It was ridiculous. And it took just as long to get his birthday card from her. I don't know what's going on where she lives, but their postal service is slow already. So if you can't vote in person, have that plan together, and know that vote early, and know that November the 5th is the last day of voting.
Yes, not the first day, the last day.
There's no makeup on November 6th.
That's right.
You got to show up on or before November 5th. And if you can, especially in states like Georgia, where they're like, oh, you can't get water. They've moved some polling places 30 minutes away from people, especially people of color. They showed that comparison with the white people, like, oh, there's nobody in line. You just go in and do it. And yes, Jazz, remember how many that all of the House of Representatives is up for election, and it's 34 seats, I guess,
in
possibly,
the Senate.
Or in the Senate.
Yeah.
But,
and I mentioned yesterday,
and 11 governors.
Oh, it's right.
You in a red
11
state.
governors. Yes.
Your governor is up, and you're
especially North Carolina.
Vote.
North Carolina. Y'all better be out there.
Crazy.
North Carolina, come on, North Carolina. You need to show up for real.
Because you got a crazy person running for governor.
Yeah.
You got someone that's totally crazy. Starch crazy. So
probably
also,
worse than Trump.
And
it sounds like.
Hold on a second. I mentioned yesterday that I noticed in the campaigns in New York City, the metro area, is that the Republicans are not putting Republican on their advertisements.
Ah.
So they're just saying, I will not, I will never overturn. I'm sorry, I will never vote for a ban on abortion.
Yeah, you will.
And so they're trying to sound like they're Democrats or independents, and they are not putting on in their, back in the day, they say, I'm such and such, and I approve this message. Or and you will see the Republican little line go on the bottom, or the Republican flag, or the orange, or the red, or whatever. They are staying away from looking Republican. So make sure, especially in states like New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, all these places that are independent and have a large Democrat, but can swing in some of these seats and states. Make sure you know that when you go in the booth, they cannot get rid of that. Now, when they get in the booth, it says Republican or Democrat. But the commercials are not saying it. So look at that. Take a notice of that.
Like in the state of Maryland, where people are, Maryland's basically a blue state, but that former Governor Hogan is running, and he was recruited by Mitch McConnell.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
He's going to vote along their lines.
Yes,
so anyone in the state of Maryland, vote for Alsabrook. Do not vote for Larry Hogan, because he is not who you think he is. He was held accountable because he had a Democratic state house that kept him from doing this damage that he wanted to do in that state. So any Marylander, tell all your friends, he's not the one to vote for.
Absolutely. Girls
Club
says, sorry, Lisa, cut you off. Girls Club says, it is important to know that during the debate, Trump repeatedly said, if she wins, she won't have the votes to pass her bills. Vote up and down the ticket, y'all.
Absolutely.
And we keep saying it. Okay, guys, I have to go. I have to leave you. We have to end because I need to run. I have a photo shoot in a little bit, in less than an hour. So, guys, I will see you guys. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll be doing Focus Friday, and we're going to be focusing on these, this kind of stuff, kind of like getting you all informed for the election. Brian is in the building. Hey, Mr. B, we see you. We see you, Mr. B. B is in the building.
What's up, Brian?
Everyone's in there. We go. I see some more folks in the building. So, guys, but make sure that you tune in tomorrow, because we're going to try to bring all of our resources. I know Elise has her resources, and I'm going to bring all of my stuff. And whoever's on the panel, we're just going to make sure that we focus on the election. So these are the accounts we want to share with you on the Focus Friday, and let you know how you can vote, be prepared, and be able to spread more information for the election. So that way we can get this done. We can win. Okay, guys? Love you all, and see you tomorrow.